Today is the 10th day of the third month in the ninth year of Channel Group, April 21, 2021. To begin our day, let's offer our respect and gratitude to our Heavenly Parent and true parents of heaven, earth, and all humankind. 천진 천부모님께 경배 바로. Let us recite 가정 맹세.
가정 맹세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
To lead us in the opening prayer, may I call on Ms. Hunju Maglangi.
Let us pray. Good morning, our most beloved Heavenly Parent and victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. We thank you for blessing us with this day and this beautiful Wednesday morning that we could gather as one family, as one holy community, and attend you and our true parents. Although we are apart by distance, we are here connected in heart and in mind because of the love and grace of you and our true parents. As we will be receiving today's inspiration and guidance, we would like to invite your divine presence and ask you to work with each and every one of us. Please guide our national leader and our leaders and speak through them as they will be your special messengers who deliver to us the words that you want us to hear this morning, Heavenly Parent. We pray that our hearts and minds be open and that your words will touch the hearts of our brothers and sisters. I also pray that we can be able to grasp and absorb your words, Heavenly Father. Heavenly Parent and true parents, we are so grateful to be living in the same era as our true parents and to be with our hardworking true mother who's really continuously working hard here in the physical world. We pray for our true mother's good health, protection, and strength, Heavenly Parent. And we also pray for our leaders and our brothers and sisters from all around the nation and world who are working hard in the front lines, and also to those who are in their respective fields. Please always be with them wherever they are and guide and protect them. And we pray that they can always receive strength through your love and inspiration. We would like also to truly repent for our sins and shortcomings, Heavenly Parent. May we always think about how we can do and offer and really be better versions of ourselves day by day, and have this filial and longing heart in whatever we do, to bring joy and comfort to our true mother, true father, and you, Heavenly Parent. Yes, thank you, Heavenly Parent and true parents, once again for showering us daily with your love and inspiration, and maybe start our day fresh and really reflect from today's message. We love you so much. Kamsahamnida, Saranghamnida, and in behalf of everyone, I'd like to offer this prayer in my name, Wanju Maglangit, the second generation member of the Central Family. Aju.
Aju. Now let us all offer our unison prayer. Aju. So once again, good morning, Heavenly Parent and true parents. Good morning to our very hardworking leaders, elders, blessed families, and to all brothers and sisters. Good morning po. So for our brothers and sisters in the center, you may now take your seats. For our Hunduke reading, let us all welcome Ms. Mary Grace Mag-Alasin.
Morning, Heavenly Parents and true parents. Good morning to all our leaders, elders, blessed families, brothers and sisters. Our reading this morning from Mother of Peace, Amimoa by Hak Jahan Moon. Chapter 10, The Challenge of Realizing a Heavenly World Continuation. I wept many times over the pain of the people who lead arduous lives under those spacious skies in Latin America. My heart was torn for the children who crave to learn to write but could not. In the 1970s, when our missionaries from that area expressed how difficult it was to bring God's truth to people who struggle day to day to survive. All I could do was listen and silently pat their shoulders. We would pray together. We will return here on another day and build a land of happiness. Heavenly Father, please don't forget these people. In the 1990s, God opened the door and we began to fulfill those prayers. When we arrived there, Puerto Leda lacked every basic facility. The nearby village needed a school as well as a hospital, and they urgently needed to secure an economic foundation to overcome hunger. Our members all over the world, especially Japan, responded to our call and donated in support of the LEDA project. Nothing can change in a day, yet our members were comforted by the hope they saw in the eyes of the children and by seeing changes emerge in the hearts of the youth. The new generation of Puerto Leda began to think, we too can have a good life. We keep in mind the need to stop the steady destruction of the ecosystem. We know that in the name of economic development, we are losing the Amazon rainforest. Overfishing and the rapacious killing of valuable animals for monetary profit also are a serious problem. At the same time, more than 800 million people around the world regularly go hungry. Some South American countries have abundant stocks of beef and wheat, yet they cannot prevent malnutrition. In the midst of our education and community building in Latin America, we conduct plant and animal search research on how to best utilize the local resources while protecting nature. The wings of monarch butterflies span just a few inches, but they migrate 3,000 miles between Canada and Mexico every winter. No one taught them to do this. It is encoded in their nature. Human beings and nature have an inseparable relationship. We can be enlightened about God's act of creation and his mystical truth through nature, which represents him. Only when we live in it, invest in it, and study it, we can feel the infinite joy and love that God felt when he created the earth for us. When we do so, we can live each day with a heart of love and gratitude. The land in which we can learn this truth is Latin America. Through family oriented love, as one family under God, we can discover our original homeland in this land, God's gift of nature. The world's parliamentarians share one heart. Nepal has no seashore, but having the world's tallest mountains makes up for that. Countless hikers and wealthy tourists visit Nepal as it has 8 of the world's 10 highest mountain peaks and its border passes over the very tallest peak, Mount Everest. But Nepal sits secluded between China and India, and the development of its largely agrarian economy is not keeping up with its neighbors. When I arrived at the Kathmandu airport in the summer of 2016, 2 dogs were napping peacefully on the waiting room door and nobody was shooing them out. Cars and motorcycles came to a sudden stop because far ahead a cow was meandering along the road. Only after she moved off the road did the traffic start moving again. This is Nepal. Nonetheless, large-scale changes have taken place since Nepal encountered our movement. For example, an amazing event took place in Nepal in 2016, which was unforgettable year for our movement's peace efforts. In July, hundreds of leaders in the fields of politics, economics, religion, and education arrived in Kathmandu from every nation in Asia. These distinguished men and women came to inaugurate the regional chapter of the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace, a project of the Universal Peace Federation. Let me take a moment to introduce the IAPP. World peace cannot come about by human effort alone nor by the efforts of just a few. Many people, from everyday citizens to high ranking government officials, need to overcome social class divisions and actively take initiative. Every nation in the world, small or large, has a Congress, a parliament, or a national assembly. It represents the people of the nation. Over the years, as I visited nations around the world, I repeatedly urged the parliamentarians who came to meet me to remember the precious mission bestowed upon them by their nations and its people. I said that when the peoples elected representatives butt their heads together and focus on what they can do to solve conflicts, peace will come quickly and naturally. I spoke of a world alliance of parliamentarians dedicated to the search for peaceful solutions. When I did so, parliamentarians would agree with me. The vision from Heavenly Parent is the starting point connecting the world's parliamentaries as one body, transcending nation, race, and culture. By aligning with the only begotten daughter, parliamentarians can work together to address the ills that bedevil human life. As I shared this vision, people close to me tried to educate me about political infighting. They asked, will leaders of different parties be willing to gather and cooperate? Gathering influential people and peacemakers is not an easy task, they said. All the nation's governments are fraught with conflict and strife caused by the divisions among opposing parties. I did not budge. I had not a shadow of a doubt that today's parliamentarians are ready, and I had faith that God would guide each of them to listen to me. The launch of the International Association of Parliamentarians of Peace took place in February 2016 at the National Assembly of the Republic of Korea. The theme of the conference was addressing the critical challenges of our time, the role of governments, civil society, and faith-based organizations. This was the first of a series of such events, one held on each continent about which I will now say a few words. Adieu.
June. Let us give a hand to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Thank you so much, Miss Mary Grace, for reading our theme for today. And now, to share his 10 points of gratitude, may I give the Zoom floor to Mr. Eduardo Mayo. A round of applause.
Good morning, Heavenly Parents, true parents, leaders, bliss families, brothers and sisters. I am glad for this opportunity to share my 10 points of gratitude. 1. I am grateful to Heavenly Parents and true parents that until this time, I am still a member of the Unification Church. 2. I am grateful to my ancestors. Becoming a Unification member is not an accident. I am sure I am guided by my ancestors. In return, I have liberated 430 generations of my ancestor. 3. I am grateful to my wife for loving me. She is the reason for me to have a longer life. She always inspired me to remain part of God's providence until this time. 4th, I am grateful to my 5 children. They are the fruit of our love. They are my inspiration. 5, I am grateful to America. He is providing my material needs. In return, my wife and myself can work in God's providence. I can offer my small resources in the fulfillment of God's will. 6, I am grateful to my father, Basilio Mayo, and my mother, Merlina. Thank you for raising me to become God's child. I think that's the greatest thing my parents had done for me. Thank you also to my brothers and sisters in Korea, Japan, and here in the Philippines for following and supporting me and my wife's mission. 7, I am grateful to my father and mother-in-law. My wife was born to complete me. Thank you also to my brothers and sisters in-law in Korea and the Philippines for supporting my wife's mission. 8, I am grateful to Raquel Siroje, Bergie Oracion, especially Ronald and Frida Busick, for spiritually raising me up. 9, I am grateful to Dr. Julius Malikdem and Reverend Leo Angelo Halo. I feel re-energized and inspired every time I hear them speak. I am also grateful for Ate Shirley Vergara Kuya Rumi Nuyana for inspiring me before to become full-time. Then, I am grateful to Dr. Yong for inspiring my wife to fulfill its mission and to continue working in the front line and guiding my whole family to remain faithful to Heavenly Parents and true parents. That's all. Thank you very much. Have a good morning to all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eduardo Maya, for sharing such wonderful gratitude points. Let us give Mr. Eduardo a round of applause, a virtual round of applause. Now, to prepare ourselves to receive Heavenly Parent and True Parents' message, let us listen to a wonderful rendition of the song, We Will Get There, to be rendered to us by our very hardworking UPF staff, Ms. Chosen Guy and Ms. Mariah Carey Aparese. Let's give them a virtual round of applause.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. This is Chosen Guy, and I'm with Miss Mariah. And today we will be performing We Will Get There. Hope you will enjoy it.
Remember the days we set out together with faith. Remember the times so fun when we thought that nothing could stand in our way.
When things weren't the same, the life that we knew had to change. We've struggled through the darkest storms we thought we couldn't take.
Together we've tried as we stood side by side. I know we'll build a new world, a world of hope forever after. Deep in my heart, I just know, right from the start, we will grow. Look where we are, we've come so far, and there's still a long, long way to go. With all of my heart, I won't care, I'll play my part, I will share. With family and friends, together we'll stand, and in the end, hand in hand, we will get there.
So now we begin working together to win, believing in trust and must be possible to overcome anything.
There's so much to do, there's so much we can contribute. By sharing just a little love, we'll start again anew. So why don't we try, if we stand side by side, I know we'll build a new world, a world of hope forever after. Deep in my heart, I just know, right from the start, we will grow. Look where we are, we've come so far, and there's still a long, long way to go. With all of my heart, I will care, I'll play my part, I will share. With family and friends, together we stand, and in the end, hand in hand, we will get there. Right from the start, we will grow. Look where we are, we've come so far, and there's still a long, long way to go. With all of my heart, I will care, I'll play my part, I will share.
Wow, thank you so much, Miss Chasa and Miss Mariah, for that very wonderful song. So hold on, brothers and sisters, for it will just take our united effort and hard works, and truly we will get there. Aju, so thank you so much once again for expressing your heart, sisters. Now I believe everyone is now ready to receive the heavenly message. So now let us all welcome our very dedicated and passionate national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halo.
Thank you very much, our sister Jinky. First, I would like to greet our Heavenly Parent and True Parents. Good morning, Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Good morning to all our beloved leaders, the central families, brothers and sisters. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. I would like to thank our UPF leaders and staff for hosting our Hunduke this morning. Today is our 79th day of our morning devotion. Yeah, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation of our Sister Chosun and Sister Maraya for that really very inspiring song. Yeah, I know you prepared so much, right? Also, I'm really happy and really grateful to listen from the 10 points of gratitude of our beloved elder Kuya Edward Mayo. Their family is really also really working for a long time in God's providence. I'm really, really grateful really for them as husband and wife with Ate Grace, and really for sharing that heartfelt 10 points of gratitude. And so this morning, I would like to share another topic. We are really sorry yesterday because of some electrical problem here in our headquarters. We couldn't have the Hundoki yesterday. So anyway, today I would like to share this topic. So this morning I will be sharing another topic. So today is already April 21, and very soon we will be celebrating True Parents Holy Wedding, and also having the Parents Day and True Parents Day. And also this coming Sunday, we are preparing for the blessing ceremony. This is very special blessing ceremony, and we are preparing around 7 couples, and then 5 individuals will be joining here in our national headquarters. So our BFD, our Ati Dulce, and all BFD staff, they're very busy this time because this is very, very precious event. And also we will be having in some areas, including in Japan, also some of our field job second generation will be joining. Total, we have around 30 will be joining from the Philippines, including Piljap, and also in some areas that are under the Philippines. So this is very exciting on Sunday. So let's really celebrate together with our beloved true parents. This morning, I would like to talk about this topic entitled Learning and Practice. Okay, let's begin. So when a truth is learned, it must be practiced. Indeed, knowledge that is not put into practice is not truly learned. It soon fades away like a mirage, just like an illusion. True knowledge arises when the conceptual becomes experiential. This applies particularly to religious and moral teachings, whose practice may be difficult. The hypocrite is someone who claims to be wise and devout but never acts accordingly. Unity of word and deed is a central quality of authentic personhood. So actually to learn things, it's easy, but to really practice is the most difficult one, right? All of us are in the process of, really perfecting ourselves. That's why every day we are trying our best. So many people are really learned. They know many things, but to practice, really, that is the most challenging, right? That's why unity of word and deed is the central quality of authentic personhood. Really, this is really important. So Father said, Whatever you conceive in your head, you should practice. Whatever you conceive in your head, you should practice. It is not enough to only think it. Why do you need to act? When your actions are in accord with your words, it creates a center, a place of unity between word and deed, and of unity between mind and body. So, as we are learning every day continuously, right? So we are really, given the opportunity also to really become better each day. If we really try to practice everything that we are learning, Father said, whatever you conceive in your head, you should practice. When you are studying in the school, when you study in the school, at the end of your course before you graduate, meron tayong tinatawag na OJT, right? Actually, that is already like a actual practice of what you have learned. So the same is true. What is the purpose of the things that we are learning? We know that it's really not easy. Sabi nga kanina, especially in the religious realm, because many people can really teach, can say a word, can talk these very beautiful words to people, but to really practice in one's life, this is really the most challenging. That's why we could say that true parents are amazing. They're really great, right? So anyway, today Father will be sharing to us all these things that he said before he teach anything. Actually, he practiced in himself. That's why true parents is our absolute model, right? So we are all on the road of trying to practice all the things that we are learning every day, right? So everything that we know already, we have to try and really practice every day in our life. So Father said, when your actions are in accord with your words, it creates a center, a place of unity between word and deed, and of unity between mind and body. So we know that really the most important is actually how to unite our mind and body. This time, as the providence is really advancing so much now, Chonbo families were born. It's not only what we have done, most importantly, but how we are really living our lives also every day. So how to really become really an ideal person, this is what we have to show and really emulate. How can we really resemble our beloved true parents, right? So every day, how to really improve. How can we make really our mind and body more closer and closer to be united? How many percentage each day? How much we are growing and developing? This is really the most important, right? Without unity, Father said, of words and deeds, then there will be no center. But once words and deeds unite, it creates a center, and then it also result to unity between mind and body. This is really the most difficult. This is the most fundamental, right? So no matter what, that's why we are continuously being guided by true parents, so that one day we can be able to really practice it, and we can really unite our mind and body. Naturally, we can really have ideal family, and we can expand to our society, right? So this is really important. Whatever we learn and conceive in our head, Father said we have to do our best to practice it. So whatever you learn, you must practice. You must practice it in all dimensions, Father said. In your vertical relationships, in your horizontal relationships, and in all four directions, widely and deeply. By so training yourself in this world, you will become adept when you go to the spirit world. So adept means like you will become very good in doing this when you go to the spiritual world. That's why really practice is the most important. By training yourself in this world, training to practice what we are really learning. Father said in all dimensions. So in your vertical relationship with Heavenly Parent, with true parents, and then horizontal relationship with your spouse, with your brothers and sisters, and in all four directions, widely and deeply. So by really doing and practicing this while we are here in the physical world, true Father said, when we go to the spiritual world, then we will become very good of all these things. Sabi nga, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, right? So even how good we learn about kingdom of heaven, we learn the spiritual world, how really amazing kingdom of heaven is, right? But we can only do those things there once we practice in the physical world, right? That's our training here. It will not just happen, that what we are doing here is different. We are not practicing the word here. We are not really, living in our daily life, all these things. And then suddenly when we go to the spiritual world, we can do it. It will never happen like that, right? That's why continuously training ourselves every day, every morning, right? When we wake up in the morning. So we have new determination to really live more in substantializing the words that we are learning every day from true parents, and really becoming better and better each day. Aju, until the day that we need to go to the spiritual world, then we can really be ready, right? That's why we need to really go out from our small box. We need to go beyond. Otherwise, we cannot really practice what we are really learning, right? That's why this time, our True Mother is really encouraging us continuously whenever True Mother speaks, how much she's encouraging all of us, all the central families, right? That's why every day is a great opportunity for us to grow, to develop, and really, become the masters of our words, like by bringing our words, making this alive through our practice, through our daily life. Aju, Father said, we can become God's partner when we understand His will and live accordingly. Human beings cannot become the object partners who inspire God with joy unless they understand His will and make effort to live accordingly. Hence, human beings are endowed with emotional sensitivity to the heart of God, intuition and reason to comprehend His will, and the requisite abilities to practice it. So even though we are created as God's partner, that is the original purpose. God created us as His sons and daughters, His partners of love, right? But Father said, we can only become God's partner when we understand His will and make effort to live accordingly. That's why even though God created us in this way, right? But even the fall didn't happen. Still, human beings needs to reach a certain level. We need to grow. We need to develop, right? And then reach a certain level. We need to become divine spirits, and then that's the time that we can really become the partner of Heavenly Parent, meaning we develop and really we practice in our life. So also we can only give joy and happiness, and we can only inspire our Heavenly Parent once we really understand His heart, His will, and be able to really live by it in our everyday life. Aju, that's why every day, how can we become more closer to that standard that Heavenly Parent is asking us, and really longing for human beings, for His children to really grow. Tayo, when we look at our children, young children, how much we are, longing for them to grow and develop. We are very excited. The same is true with Heavenly Parent. Yesterday also, I'm reading speech of Father, and then I learned that as a parent who is very excited to the children, taking care of the children, taking care of changing the diapers. Heavenly Parents is like that. Father said, how excited, and really Heavenly Parents always with us, trying to take care of us the best way He can. That is really the heart of the parent, right? But unless we grow and develop, really Heavenly Parents cannot really have that really full give and take relationship with us. So the only way is for us to really grow and develop and understand Heavenly Parents' heart, Heavenly Parents' will, and then live by it through our effort, accordingly. Right? So Father said, hence, human beings are endowed with emotional sensitivity to the heart of God, intuition and reason to comprehend His will, and the requisite abilities to practice it. As human beings, we are created, right, in the image of Heavenly Parent. And then we have this emotional sensitivity to the heart of God, right? Our built-in, our conscience that is like God within. That's why we have this, despite the fall, even though our first human ancestors fell, we still have this, right, in us, and it will remain, continue to to encourage us, to guide us, right? and until the day that we can be able to really practice and really by understanding God's heart and will, and then practice it in our everyday life. So that is the only time that we can be able to really become God's partner. Once human beings be able to understand Heavenly Parent's will and His heart and live by it in our everyday life. Jew. That's why Heavenly Parents is really looking for that person continuously, and then finally, Heavenly Parents could find our true parents, our true father and true mother. But not only them, right? We need to become like true parents. So we are not just this time, following. That's why Father said we are not just following, but we have to become like them. What true parents have accomplished, we are also striving to fulfill that. We also need to become true parents ourselves, right? And then God can be able to really fully live with us and really take full give and take action with us as His children once we accomplish this. Aju? So this is our goal. True Father said, I teach by experience. I do not have the right to teach you anything unless I have first practiced it. So that's why all the things that we are learning from true parents, so that's why true parents is our ultimate model. Even though, in behalf of true parents, we are, teaching these words of true parents, but this is not our own teaching. This is true parents teaching. We are all learning, including myself. Every morning, how much also I'm really learning so much and trying my best also every day, right, to really live and practice this in my everyday life. That's why how really fortunate we are, right? So all these things are already proven. True parents are victorious. They have accomplished everything. That's why if we can live by these teachings of true parents, for sure we will be successful. We will be victorious. We can overcome anything. Without doubt, we can overcome anything. Because all these words that true parents is teaching, this is already proven and tested, right? And then true parents is teaching this not based on theory, but based on experience. That's why our challenge now, how to really practice this in our everyday life, all these teachings of true parents, and then for sure we will be successful, we will be victorious. In whatever fields, right? Our true parents, they didn't focus on one thing. They didn't focus to gain material things. They didn't focus on that. Only their focus is how to fulfill God's will. How to fulfill God's will. How to liberate Heavenly Parent. How to liberate humanity. This is their core focus. But everything was given to them, right? As the Bible said, once you prioritize God's will, seek ye first God's kingdom, right? And then all these things will be added unto you. Then these words in the Bible has true parents brought into life, right? That's why now we could see, because of true parents, life and practices, everything came into being. Aju, the words in the Bible was substantialized of our true parents. Really amazing. That's why these words, kaya nga itong word ito yung pinaka-importante sa atin. This is our jewel, right? True parents' words. This will really make us a true person. And this will help us to really create a beautiful world. Make us, help us to build ideal family, ideal society, ideal nation. These words of true parents will surely bring about the realization of kingdom of heaven on earth. If we practice this, starting in ourselves, in our families, and then it will just naturally, spread until, the ends of the earth. All corners of the world will be rich one day by all these things, and all people will going to practice. Naturally, kingdom of heaven will be realized. Aju? Father said, you must speak from experience. Then the knowledge becomes real. Teaching is not just a matter of repeating what you have heard. You have to speak from experience. Then the knowledge become real. So somehow, in our life, especially our elders who have been in our movement for a long time, cannot imagine the experiences that you have, right? So some of us just, like me, 15 years in our movement, some are just new. So, every day we are gaining experience, right? So later on, when we are sharing, that's why when we are sharing, comparing to others, sometimes, like because what we are thinking is not just theory or someone that, fulfilled in the past, and then we are just repeating. Father said, when you are teaching, it's not just a matter of repeating what you have heard from others, but also based on our experiences, right? So we have certain experiences somehow, and still we are very young, still a lot of experience we need to experience. But somehow there are already experience we have as we follow true parents, as we practice, right? So everything the true parents have taught us and continuously teaching, this is based on their life's experience. That's why we could see how real it is. The same is true when we are sharing our experiences to others, right? Now there's blessing. So brothers and sisters, also mga magjo-join ng blessing, what is the best thing you have to share to them? Also, when I join the matching, you can share to them, starting family, not easy. Also, this experience, we have our different experiences that others can learn. So these are very real because this is our life experience. This is not just a theory that we learn from other people. We have our own experience also, right? So if we teach by experience, then it becomes very real. And then people can feel that, right? People can feel what you are saying. So in every word that True Parents is teaching us, it is very real. Why? Because these are all True Parents experiences. This is not just theory, right? Even Father was saying that there are things that they have gone through that even Heavenly Parents doesn't know. Father was saying, because Father pioneered this, restoration course, right? That's why even Heavenly Parent, he said, really, the details doesn't know. Really, True Parents pioneered this course. Everything is based on their experience. That's why everything is real. Aju? So that's why it's really good to really gain a lot of experiences later on also to our children. They are asking many things. Now I realize really children, they started to ask many things. Our young children and brothers and sisters. So really it's very important, our experiences in life. So Father said, here this is really important. In order to become world level leader, needs to have many experiences before the age of 30. I believe that anyone who would become a world level leader in charge of many people should first have many life experiences before the age of 30. You should acquire unforgettable stories from having gone through many challenging life experiences. That is my conclusion after experiencing it all. So this is really very important. That's why True Father is True Parents is always teaching us before the age of 30. I became also full-time. I joined when I was 21 years old. So also I could have also such experiences somehow. Still very far. But Father said, really most important, our experiences in order for us to become a world level leader in charge of many people should first have many life experiences before the age of 30. And then you should acquire unforgettable stories from having gone through many challenging life experiences. That is my conclusion after experiencing it all, Father said. So also, I remember before I also have one experience that I cannot forget because, I was assigned in, training program, our young brothers and sisters, and then we are bringing them to other country. One time, we were interviewed by NDI. One time I was, together with some brothers and sisters. We stayed in their office for, I think, around 14 hours, and then we were interviewed. And then because the time I'm bringing brothers and sisters, outside, and then again another time I was the same officer that time saw me, and then they started to doubt, and then they hold us for for around 14 hours, and then they interviewed me, and then they anyway. So this is experience also I couldn't forget. So because sometimes also we are thinking some of our elders, maybe brothers and sisters, they experience to be in prison, right? So somehow we could taste the experience of Father. So these things are very, very precious jewel in our life, right? We cannot forget this. We cannot forget. So also the time when I was, in that situation, also I'm thinking we don't know, maybe but also I'm not really, afraid, or because I know what I am doing. If we will, if we need to experience some, to taste through father's experience or through parents' experience, then I think that is really great blessing for us. But anyway, we could surpass that situation, and I could share more, and I could to that NBI officer after that, and then after a few days, because I could share many things that we are doing. And then me and my wife went to the immigration office at the airport at the time, and then I gave that officer True Father's autobiography. So I'm really happy actually with that experience. I can never forget that kind of feeling and emotion during that time. Also, but not only that, I could be able to really share what we are really doing, what our young people are doing, really. And then not only that, I could give True Father's autobiography to that officer. I couldn't, I need to reach him out again. That was long time. And then in our events, I'm not reaching him out. Now I remember him. So I have his contact number. So I need to find out that maybe in my past, phones before, and then I need to reach him out. So maybe already he have read. I hope so. He have read True Father's autobiography. He's a very good person. So that kind of experience, somehow I'm really happy to have that kind of experience, even though I didn't really experience to be in prison like this, or maybe almost, in some cases also in other countries. But really, Father is telling us these experiences, this is the most important, jewel. That's why we cannot just live ordinary life as people who are following our beloved true parents. It's really the best, really later on, the more experiences we have, more experiences of challenge and difficulties we can share, not only to brothers and sisters, but most importantly to your own children. Now, my children started to ask me, 9 years old and 7 years old. They have many questions already. Before, I'm just listening from our elder Blessed Central families. Sabi nila, later on, mga anak mo, mag-start na yun silang magtanong ng mga ganito. Totoo pala. Now I realize. Now they are starting to ask many things. From true parents, from our movement, from my experiences, they are starting to ask many things. That's why I realize it's really, really very good to have a lot of experiences of challenges and difficulties in our mission. Because also I've been to, many countries. I have also many experiences, different experiences in other countries that, very good to share to young brothers and sisters and to our children especially. That's why Father said, in order for us to really become a world level leader in charge of many people, should first have many life experiences before the age of 30. That's why our young brothers and sisters, our second generation, this is the most precious time of your life. Do not miss this. That's why if you have the opportunity to explore, not only, many people are traveling, they're trying to explore, but these things, these are nothing with our experiences that true parents wanted to give to us. When you join some, our movements training programs, and then you go to different countries doing things, for the betterment of that country, of people. These are really amazing. That will really nurture our heart, develop our heart, right? Really grow our heart. Later on, we can take care of many people, right? That's why before the age of 30, Father said, we need to have a lot of unforgettable experiences and stories in our life. Life and death experience is good. We could have these things, right? These things that, make our hearts beat faster, right? You are in that mixed emotions. These are very, very important. These are jewel of our life. Really, these are jewel of our lives. That's why we need to have this kind of experiences, so that later on we can be able to really take care and really, guide many people, brothers and sisters, because ultimately we will become the ones that will going to lead our society one day. Aju? So Father said, that is my conclusion after experiencing it all. So we really need to have a lot of experiences, especially for young brothers and sisters now who are not in their 30s yet. Already I am 37, but still a lot of experiences continuously experiencing, and really want to experience more. And really, Aju, this is really, really important. So Father said, we have to teach everything on the basis of our experiences. Then when you ask your people to do manual labor, you can appeal to them with the heart you felt while you were a laborer. For example, suppose you once worked at a job where you carried loads of clay across a narrow bridge using poles to balance yourself. When you tell your story about that job and the dangers you faced, your workers will become serious. An expert is someone who explains and teaches everything on the basis of his or her own experiences. So now, now why we can guide people, brothers and sisters, especially, many basic relationships they cannot overcome because of our experiences also, somehow that we could gain, right? Because of this course that we have followed through mga fundraising experiences natin, witnessing experiences natin, our relationship in the center, with your leader and your brothers and sisters. These things really help you to become a universal person. You can, you can overcome any situations later on, not only for yourself, and then that time you will become somehow, you can understand many things, and then you can start to help and guide brothers and sisters, guide people, right? So Father said we have to teach everything on the basis of our experiences. That's why later on, different experiences in life you could experience. So you can easily guide people, right? So that's why it's really, really important to really have a lot of experiences. Kaya nga, later on, that's why now while we are, mga young brothers and sisters natin, you are still single, please really have a lot of experiences. Explore, don't be afraid. I remember before, we have, second generation in Thailand. They join YLT. They are actually very afraid to go out from Thailand because one reason, they cannot, bakit mga Thai brothers and sisters? They don't want to go out so much. Kasi nga hindi sila nakapag-English kasi marami silang mga worries, ganito. Kaya nga dapat they really need to learn English. Hindi katulad ng mga Pilipino, we are more may explorer na spirit eh. Ang Pilipino kasi nga nakapag-English kasi tayo. And then malakas talaga rin ang loob ng Pilipino. Malakas ang loob ng Pilipino, so we are not so afraid. So before I learn yung mga Thai brothers and sisters, they are afraid to go out from the country. Pumunta sa iba't ibang places, ganun sa reflections nila. But because of this, they try to explore. They could go out, then they became stronger, and then they were able to face many different challenges and overcome many things in their life. They could, can you imagine? So they could have this experience, so they can share also to brothers and sisters in Thailand. So it's really, really important. Talagang experience talaga natin. This is really the ones that will really help us grow and develop. Of course, it's important, the knowledge we study in the school, but more than that is the experience. Kaya nga, there are many people na hindi naman nakapag-aral sa matataas na eskwelahan, right? But how come? They are even more successful really than other people, na mga matatalino, mga nag-aral sa kwan. Most important really our experiences. If we have many things in our mind, we have to put that into practice, right? That's why later on, our teaching, yung tuturo natin, whatever profession you will going to have later on, and then you can teach based on experience. Aju? That's why really sometimes also I feel I need really to have more experiences actually. Sabi ko nga dati kasi hindi kasi ako nag-join nung nag-aaral ako sa movement natin eh. Nung nag-join actually ako ng church natin, sabi ko dati pa sana ako nag-join ng CARP while I'm studying, then I could have many experiences. Nag-join kasi ako nung graduate na ako ng college. I really became nag-full-time na talaga ako nung after my graduation sa college. So that's why it's really important for our young brothers and sisters. Really, it's really important. Please really explore a lot and really have a lot of experiences more than anyone. This is really the true wealth that we can have more than anything. Experiences, especially challenging experiences. That's why I remember lagi yung sinasabi dati ni Dr. Yung to go to difficult places. You go to India. You go to more difficult places than the Philippines. Minsan, lagi tayong nagko-complain, bakit ganito ang Pilipinas, napakahirap, ganito ang situation natin. But actually, when you go to more difficult countries, more difficult experiences you experience, you start to appreciate your country. You start to appreciate our country. Kaya nga, more difficulties is good. Experiencing more challenges in our life is better, is really good, will help you a lot. And then later on, you can inspire and help many people. Aju? That's why Father said, I have put these teachings to test and applied it in practice. So this teaching is not just a theory. I tested everything through my own experience, which involved all kinds of suffering. I have put this teaching to the test and applied it in practice. Really, we are truly grateful to our beloved true parents. That's why, sabi ko nga po, if we don't need to worry about anything now. Just continue to study true parents teaching, and then let's try every day to practice in our life, right? Especially this is experiences of true parents, really life and death experiences. Really amazing. Also, really, I cannot really forget din talaga these experiences of when you experiences really life and death. For many years also I'm leading brothers and sisters outside the country. Actually, how many times also, I feel we don't know what will going to happen in Singapore, in Malaysia, Muslim nations. I hear many stories in Hong Kong. Also the time always I have this kind of feeling that you need to be ready anytime. We don't know what will going to happen. We are in outside country. They have their own law and then very strict. And then we are, we are doing fundraising doon because very difficult in the Philippines. Not so easy. And then also for brothers and sisters who have a lot of experiences. So many times I've been to, for many years, I'm guiding brothers and sisters directly also in many countries. I have this feeling also anytime. So I need to be ready anytime what will going to happen, right? I need to be ready to be in prison or whatever. So really life and death experiences, this helps me, become, stronger and still many things I need to experience. But this kind of experience really helps me a lot. And then what Father is talking about life and death, this is really life and death. Our course, our training, life and death, because anytime, right, when you're outside your country, no one really can help you later on. What if whatever happened, you need to do your best to some countries, our church are not recognized there. So if you have situation, you need to face it on your own. Right? We have many situations in Malaysia, right? And then I talk to immigration officers in other country, to police officers, many experiences like this. So this is an amazing experiences, really amazing experiences. That's why if living in our country, here is more comfortable. This is your own nation, right? If there are situations, you have many people to talk to. We have many VIPs here can help you, but in other countries, and then you are involved in this kind of situation, really life and death situation, right? That's why this kind of experiences, this is really important in our life. I'm really, really grateful. I was given this, mission and this opportunity. I could gain many stories also to tell, and that kind of feeling and emotion that I will never forget, right? I will never forget. And then this encounter, and then really amazing. So Father said all these teachings are already tested and applied by Father into practice. Kaya ngayon ang kanya lang sa atin, let's study continuously every day and how to apply every day in our daily life. Aju? And then one day, we can really perfect ourselves. We can really perfect ourselves once we practice this. Kaya nga, we are really, really so fortunate to really live in this time with our beloved true parents. That's why these precious teachings of true parents are the jewel of our life. So we need to share this to others as we continue to practice and really becoming better and better each day. Aju? That's why really, I know it's not easy. Even I myself really not easy, to practice every day. But we never give up. Every day is a new beginning, new opportunity. Every day is new blessing given to us by Heavenly Parent. Aju? That's why let's really gather our resolve and really do our best to become, sabi nga, better version of ourselves every day. Aju? And then really make our Heavenly Parent and true parents proud of us every day. Let's really become a model in our society, no matter what, right? We have our true parents, we have our true mother with us. So I think with this great blessing that true parents have given us, we can really contribute really one day in changing our society, our nation, the world, by really living with all these teachings, in our everyday life. Aju? Aju. So let's really appreciate our Heavenly Parent and our beloved true parents for such amazing, not only guidance by theory, but really by showing us their, their teachings in their very life, right? So let's really do our best to really resemble our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Let's really have a victorious day today. So thank you very much, and may Heavenly Parents' love and blessings be upon you and your families. 감사합니다.
Wow, thank you so much, Sir LA, for that very beautiful heavenly message worthy to ponder this morning. So, uh, it is titled Learning and Practice. So, truly, we cannot give what we don't have. So, it is important to enrich ourselves with those meaningful experiences in the front line so that we could be able to share something not just to our younger brothers and sisters, but most importantly to our um, future descendants. Aju? So now at this point, let us listen to the reflections of our elders and to our leaders. First, let us welcome to share his reflection, Dr. Venus G. Agustin.
Yeah. Good morning, heavenly parents and true parents, and also to our national leader, LA, brothers and sisters. It is a pleasure to always to hear God's words. And uh, in the interest of time, I would like to make a point of my reflections based on the readings by our national leader. Learning and practice just give me a lot of it gives you a lot of thought about those things. And in short, while our national leader is reading those topics by topic, there are actually 9 points that our national leader mentioned. But out of those 9 points, as I look back and reflect on my spiritual life, from the moment I joined, everything is like true, and I attest to that based on my experience. Like for instance, in the beginning, the first one is when a truth is learned, it must be practiced. It's number one. So when I met the church, actually I am ardent Christians and a little bit of extremist because I am a UCCP by practice, UCCP. So I almost memorized the New Testament in my life actually. So I know, and I always pray in the evening that I might be included in the rapture. You know, that's our belief. But when I learned the divine principle, within 7 days, I cannot make any way to deny the truth. So it must be practiced. So I joined, I become full-time immediately, giving up my studies. And I pray to God that God knew my desire to finish my studies, but because of this truth, because of the Messiah is here, so I give up my studies and become full-time. And my prayer is, how long I'll become full-time? I give everything to our Heavenly Parent. I said, it's up to you, Heavenly Parents, when you want me to go back to school. That's my prayer. So I dedicate myself without any reservation. As our LA mentioned, before your age of 30, from True Father's words, you must have a lot of experience. Yes, in my 10 years of being full-time, we went through all the pioneering. I think our Tati Shirley knew that very well in our time. They gave us one-way ticket and we stay there and survive our own. That's how we actually start our movement in the Philippines. I can still memorize all the members that time, mga more than 50, all nationwide na yan when I joined the church. So it is really amazing experience. I never regret my experience. I give up my studies. I give up everything, my passion, because that's my passion actually. Actually, at the time, I'm already a self-supporting student. I sell encyclopedia to fund my studies. But anyway, in short, that's true actually. With all those 9 points that our national leader mentioned, it's really correct. True Father is really correct. That's why the truth, in the most important, number one is the truth. When a truth is learned, it must be practiced. Whatever you conceive in your head, you should practice. Number three, whatever you learn, you must practice. when we become God's partner, when we understand His will and live accordingly. That means when you want to become a God's partner, we need to understand His will. Those are striking words, actually. Father said, I teach by experience. You cannot teach by just theory. You need to have a lot of experience. So in my 10 years of experience, before going back to studies, actually, even when I returned to school, it's not my desire. It is the national leader at that time asked me, why not? At the time when I lost all my positions, I started my family already. And then my national leader told me, why not go back to school? That's amazing directions. I thought he's kicking me out, you know, because I never have in my mind to go back to school already. But yet, God's word said, go back. Why not go back to school? So nobody knew that I went back to school. I just put everything, my effort to start CARP, and I got a lot of spiritual children in that school. And then I finished my degree. After a year, again, I got that inspirations to pursue my master's degree. And nobody knew. I never boast myself that I went through master's degree. I'm still doing full-time. And I finished without any hindrance. And after a year again, with such inspiration that I need this to advance God's providence, I pushed through my PhD at UST. Still, nobody knew. No members knew. Even our Lolo Ulrich was surprised that I finished my PhD. Why is that? Because of those points that mentioned. So it is very important, my dear brothers and sisters, that what is the most important is the contents of your heart. Your experience will really become your testimony, become your level, how God really raised you up. That's why it's true, before you reach the age of 30, you must have a lot of experience. My 10 years, I become full-time at the age of 19. My 10 years of experience, I went through already to more than 20 countries in my life. Now, at my age, as I try to count, already more than 70 countries, many countries that we visited, repeatedly I visited already, worldwide. I know what culture is all about of different countries. There's only one. So I feel that it's very important always to always adhere to the truth, which is number one. The first motivation is the most important. When a truth is learned, it must be practiced. It's the most striking word and must be really worthy to reflect on. So there are a lot of things still that our national leader mentioned, like you must speak from experience, then the knowledge becomes real. That's true. In order to become world leader, level leader, okay, he said that you must have many experience, and that before the age of 30. That's what I mentioned already. Number 8, we have to teach everything on the basis of our experiences, not on the basis of knowledge and theory alone. So the last one is I have to put this teaching to test and apply it in practice. And I did that. I do that actually. So everything I can attest to you, my dear brothers and sisters, that the principle, once you really internalize it and put into practice, is real actually. I started my family with nothing. I don't have any asset actually, to be honest. Everything is by sacrifice. Because of that, my relatives recognize my efforts, so they really supported me. They give me a kind of things, and that everything started actually. So even my parents, they know I never connect to my parents for 5 years when I started become full-time at that time. They thought I am dead already because I never connected to them for 5 years. That's a lot of sacrifice for the sake of the truth, for the sake of advancing God's providence. So my dear brothers and sisters, when you commit, when you really had the kind of challenges and and test in your life, always remember always the points. And this is always remind me when Father said that do not become like a leaf that changes according to circumstances. So my dear brothers and sisters, let's adhere to the very important point. When a truth is learned, it must be practiced. Thank you so much and good morning.
Wow, thank you so much, Master of Venus, for that amazingly inspiring reflection. Let's give our Master of Venus a round of applause. So from Master of Venus reflection, I also have learned, and that is when you pursue really God's will, then God will put everything in your life in order. Yeah. So thank you so much once again, Master of Venus. And now to give her reflection as well, let us all welcome Dr. Janet Liban Kabayang.
Our heavenly parents and true parents, our national leader LA, our other leaders, best families, brothers and sisters. Good morning. I thank you that you are once again has asked me to give the reflection for today's morning devotion, and we were able to, our LA were able to talk about learning and practice, which is to me is a very important topic at all because I educate using experiences. So we have learned that it's important for our unity of a mind and body to unite at all, truly practicing the word. So it also, we are also taught that actions should be in accordance with what our heavenly parents and true parents desire. It should be what our heavenly parents want us to do, but not from our own selfish desires. So it's also, we also talk about maintaining the vertical and horizontal relationship as we deal with or as we spend our daily lives. And the essence and what strikes me most is when we learn the divine principle, we also have to put it into experience. So in educating my daughter as in my family, what I use is actually experience. So one step is teaching the knowledge, teaching the divine principle, but with another step is teaching by experience. So even in our because I am a healthcare professional, even in our healthcare profession, our teachers will tell us that what you are learning from this class is only the theories, but these theories will be tested in the real world when you are practicing already in the healthcare profession. So it is true father. So true father is really right about it. True parents is really right about this. When he teaches us, he already experienced it, and that's also why when I teach my daughter, I always base it on experience. So my guidance actually are based on experience because the divine principle is so ideal that it's also very difficult to practice it because we will always be encountering the unity of mind and body challenges. So from my part, I have had also those experiences in the unification movement. I have also had to deal with those difficult times being a unification movement. And I had most those difficult times actually in the unification movement, but not outside the movement. I have, yes. So what works in dealing with those challenging times when we say about suffering, when we talk about experiences, we always talk about the suffering and the level of suffering we always experience. I have had that as a member, as a blessed family. I have had that in my own family and in my relationship with other members. So what works with me is when I deal with them rather very quietly, avoiding complaining, and trying to rise above those suffering and those challenges. And that were became precious. Those suffering to me became precious. And so I will so learning a divine principle, learning the words of true parents. We're learning the words daily in our lives, that our lives of our true parents' words teach us the knowledge that that will also become our weapon, our tool as we experience them, as we deal with them in our daily lives, and as we fulfill our task as unification movement, and even when we go out to the real world, to secular world. It is the divine principle is so powerful that it will keep us empowered and strong. But at the same time, it will also challenge us how we are going to deal with those challenges, because those suffering that true parents have gone through is so huge, and and our suffering may be that small compared to them, but it has tested us. It has tested me for me in my part, my ability to deal with them with the right attitude. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to give my reflection. That's Hamida.
Thank you so much, Dr. Janet, for sharing your beautiful heart with all of us. Thank you once again. And so now, to give us the final guidance this morning, let us all welcome the Vice President of FFWPU Heavenly Asia Pacific 2. Please help me welcome the Reverend Julius Malikdem.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jinky. And to all brothers and sisters, magandang umaga po sa lahat. And thank you once again. We miss you yesterday. Anyway, I think everybody missed the online morning devotion yesterday. Thank you once again to our national leader, Kuya LA. This guidance today actually so important in our life of faith. And thank you to the sharing of Dr. Venus, Dr. Janet. Thank you for all your wonderful sharing. And it's actually very important, especially for our young members to be able to hear this kind of testimonies. Today, we learn about the value of learning and practice. I'm sure many of you still remember in the Bible that it says there that faith without good works is dead, right? So this is in the book of James. And then may sumunod doon na verse, sabi doon, show me your faith without works, and I will show you my faith by my works. Actually, that is very powerful. I will show you my faith by my works. That is why when True Father again emphasized that whatever we conceive in our head, we need to practice. This is what Father said. So I mentioned already that this is very important in our life of faith, because life of faith is not instant. It's a day-to-day process, right? It's a growing process. So we are growing in our life of faith by receiving God's words. So it's like we are building up on God's words, but that's not enough. We have to eventually embody those words. That means practicing those words. Because without practicing those words, we become stagnant. You know, just receive and receive and receive, Without practicing, we cannot grow in our life of faith. And we know that. The more we learn the principle, the more you practice, the more you gain confidence na you are growing spiritually. And then Father said, what is true knowledge? What is true knowledge? So when concept becomes experience. This is actually so important, right? When concept becomes experience, this is true knowledge. Kasi ito yung hindi mo makakalimutan. I know when you were young, you are receiving so many, like a lot of information. But the more you practice it, the more you experience it, the more it becomes real. Di ba? Pag halimbawa sinabi ng nanay mo na, oh, wag dyan, mainit. Wag mo, don't touch that. It's very hot. Tapos, hindi mo alam kung ano yung hot. And then you touch it, and then nung napasok ka, nalaman mo, ganun pala yung hot. So it's by experience that knowledge becomes real. So it's unity of words and deeds. Father emphasized unity of words and substance. Or this is like, this is like foundation of faith and foundation of substance. They go together. And then, in the Bible also, sabi doon, be doers of the word and not only hearers of the word. Anong ibig sabihin nito? True Father, why he have so much confidence when he is teaching? No, kahit na sinong kaharap niya, presidente pa yan, o prime minister pa yan, whoever he is facing, it doesn't matter. He just talk about truth with so much power, with so much conviction. Why? Kasi siya mismo na-confirm niya yan. Sabi nga niya, I do not have the right to teach you anything unless I have first practiced it. So that is why, even for us, when we are doing witnessing, when we are testifying about the truth, actually we have more confidence the more you put those words into practice. Now, ang hirap magturo ng divine principle pag ikaw mismo hindi na ipapractice. No? Eventually, you will lose power. But how do we gain power continuously to testify about the truth is by practicing it in our daily lives. And of course, this is, there should be sustained practice. Hindi yung one-time practice mo, okay na yun. It has to be sustained. It has to be manifested daily in our daily life. There's a very interesting story. I used this in one of the sermon talking about words and deeds. The parable of the wise man and the foolish man. The wise man is the one who built his house upon the rock. And then sabi doon, when the rains came and the floods came and the winds blew, but that house did not fall because it was built in a very strong foundation. Anong ibig sabihin nito? This is the person who hears the words and practice them. How about the foolish man? Sabi doon, the foolish man is the one who built his house upon the sand. No? Buhangin. So when the rain came, the floods came, and the wind blew, and then this house fell. Why? Because the foundation was not solid. Anong sabi doon sa Bible? This is the man who hears the words and does not practice this. So we can see here also in our life of faith, we can be wise. We have the choice to become wise and to become foolish. So it is a matter of putting words and deeds together or putting words and substance together. Tapos kanina may shinare si Kuya LA. Actually, it's part of the divine principle in eschatology. Sabi doon, we are endowed with emotional sensitivity to the heart of God, intuition, and reason, and to comprehend His will. Tapos sabi doon, sumunod, and the requisite abilities to practice it. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Sensitivity to the heart of God, intuition, and reason. This is actually faith or foundation of faith. And then the abilities to practice it, this is actually what? Foundation of substance. So that is why, when True Father said, I do not have the right to teach you anything unless I have practiced it, i-apply din natin yan in our life of faith. That means, for example, when we are teaching our children, we're teaching other people, the best method of witnessing is by practicing, by modeling, by showing the model. This is more powerful than just saying. So actually, we can see that in the story of True Father. In Hungam prison, for example, True Father, all the prisoners there, they're not allowed to speak to one another. horizontally. They're not allowed. Otherwise, they will be punished. But how come true father could witness even inside Hungnam prison? Two things. One is support from the spirit world. It's like, like foundation of faith. And then the substance, this is actually very powerful. When true father practice living for the sake of others inside the prison, Hungnam prison, even in Danbury prison, no? When he practiced that, that became very powerful, and then eventually people come to him. This is the way true father could witness even inside the prison. So that is why, no? For the words to have power, we have to practice it. In other words, for words to have power, or for the divine principle to have power, we have to get confirmation. Anong ibig sabihin nito? How do we get confirmation? By experience. By experiencing it ourselves. Then we get confirmation. For example, we talk about spiritual cooperation. And then when you pray so hard and eventually you felt like you're not doing it alone, it's like your ancestors are supporting you. Because, for example, you have liberated them, and then you have blessed them, and then now you call upon them, and then later on, like, you have much power, and then tapos parang ang dali-dali nung ginagawa mo. This is confirmation. Then you gain more power. Lastly, I would like to share, brothers and sisters. True Father said there are three great judgments that we are going to face in the last days, or when we go to the spirit world. I think you still remember, right? The judgment of word, and then judgment of character or substance, and then the third one is judgment of heart. So what is judgment by word? Anyone who hears the word are all subjected to judgment by the word. So walang exemption doon. Tayo lahat yun. We are the one who learn the truth, the principle. So that's why True Father said, you must pass the standard of the principle. Anong ibig sabihin nun? You must pass the standard of the principle and not fall short of it. Thus, you need to embody the principle. Yun ang sabi ni True Father. So embodiment means practicing. You become incarnation of the word. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng embodiment. Otherwise, we will face this judgment, no? The judgment by word. So that's why, how do we grow our spirit, brothers and sisters? We need the combination of both words and deeds. We need both faith and substance. Hindi pwedeng faith lang, hindi pwedeng substance lang. We need to connect both faith and substance. It's like words gives us life element, right? We learn about that. These are God's words give us life element in order to grow our spirit, like hundukhe, for example, and then becoming champions of God's words. And then, susunod, we need to have deeds or substance. What is this? These are vitality elements. Vitality elements. Then our spirit can grow by practicing God's words, by practicing living for the sake of others. By becoming champions of what? Pag yung isa becoming champions of hundok, this one is becoming champions of witnessing. That means becoming champions of sharing the blessing, multiplying the blessing. So that, for example, doing HTM mission, this is what? This is practicing what we have learned. So brothers and sisters, let's have more determination to really grow our spirit by words and deeds. So let's have a very wonderful day today. Kamsahamnida.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Julius, for that very powerful guidance this morning. So let us give our Dr. Julius a virtual round of applause. So I believe we are spiritually full. We receive a very beautiful guidance from heaven through our leaders. May we strive to practice and embody every day the truth that we have learned, and bring substantial victory to our Heavenly Parent and our true parents. So let us once again give our appreciation to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. So thank you so much once again, Dr. Julius, and to all of our leaders, to our UPF PR staff for hosting our morning devotion for today, and to all elders and brothers and sisters who are involved in this morning hunduke. So for our announcement, So let me share my screen. So here are some few announcements. So UPF activities. First, we have on April 23, 2021 at 10 a.m. to 12 noon, we'll be having this PWPA National Convention and launching of IAAP Philippines. So with the theme, A Vision for World Peace, the role of academe in promoting interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values. So for those who have not registered yet, especially our contacts from different regions, please do follow up them and please let them register. And next we have the ILC 2021. This is a 3-day online event with a theme towards peaceful unification of Korean Peninsula, creating the foundation for a unified world. And that is on the 29th of April to May 1st, 2021 at 11 a.m. Manila time. So you may register at ILC- or you may visit ilc-asia.live. And lastly, we have from Women's Federation. So WFWPI organizes a healing creativity-based online therapy session. So you can choose between 3 themes on happiness consultation, flower arrangement, and origami folding. Instructors and experts are preparing special classes to help in practicing positive self-statements, building self-esteem, and having a fun time. So this will be on April 23 on Friday, 8 p.m. Korea Standard Time. So you may also visit Women's Federation for World Peace International Facebook page for more information about this event. Yeah, so I think that's all for the announcement. And now, to close our morning devotion, may I call on Ms. Gabrielle Beagle for the closing prayer.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Please close our eyes and join me in my prayer. 사랑하시는 하늘부모님, 전지인 장모님, 사랑합니다. 감사합니다. Our most beloved Heavenly Parent and true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we are so grateful, Heavenly Parent, for this gift of life that you have given us this precious morning. We are grateful, Heavenly Parent, for your reminder of your love to us. We are so grateful, Heavenly Parent, that you never stopped loving us as a parent, despite of all things, shortcomings, and limitations of humankind. Heavenly Parent, we are grateful for our true parents who work day and night for the providence, for our true parents who paved the path through their sacrifices, blood, sweat, and tears, so that we could be able to be liberated from the fall of Adam and Eve, Heavenly Parent. However, Heavenly Parent, we are really hoping that we could really fulfill our portions of responsibilities every day with the help of and guidance of our leaders, our brothers and sisters. We would like to offer ourselves, Heavenly Parent, our lives to you, Heavenly Parent. We are so grateful, Heavenly Parent, for our true mother that despite of her age, Heavenly Parent, she is really determining to fulfill her promise to our true Father and to you, Heavenly Parent, which is to unify our fatherland, Korea, and to really establish heavily unified world and cosmos, Heavenly Parent. We hope, Heavenly Parent, that even here in the Philippines, we could start here, Father, wherein we could start in our own areas of responsibilities. We hope, Heavenly Parent, that all the guidances that we are hearing every day from our leaders, from our elders, brothers and sisters, we could really substantiate it in our actions and determination every day. We are truly grateful, Heavenly Parent, that you have allowed us to connect our hearts to you day and night, Heavenly Parent, through the words of our true parents. Truthfully, Heavenly Parent, we are so fortunate to live in the time of our true parents, this golden age. Allow us to really appreciate and value this precious time and to really be victorious, Heavenly Parent, in our portions of responsibilities. Allow us to work as one family, Heavenly Parent, to connect more people to you, to restore more of our family, more of our friends, our loved ones, and even our nation, Heavenly Parent. May you extend safety and blessing to all brothers and sisters that despite of this pandemic, they are working day and night in the front line. Please protect them, guide them, Heavenly Parent. And we are so grateful for our ancestors who always support us more than what we have asked for, more than what we thought. Heavenly Parent, we believe that they are always with us. We're so grateful for all these things, Heavenly Parent, but above all, is our desire, Heavenly Parent, to liberate you from your sorrow, Heavenly Parent, from your sorrow of not having your children, Heavenly Parent. So allow us, Heavenly Parent, to be your instrument, to be your true ambassador, Heavenly Parent. May you use us, our talents, our skills, ourselves, Heavenly Parent, for the providence. Thank you so much, Heavenly Parents and true parents. Allow us to extend our loves and our gratitude with humility. I pray this in behalf of all brothers and sisters and our leaders and central figures in true parents' name. Achu. Thank you po.
Aju. So let us offer our individual prayer. Aju. So once again, let us offer our morning greetings to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Good morning, Heavenly Parent and true parents. Good morning to all of our leaders,
Good
blessed
morning, Heavenly Father,
families,
victorious true
elders,
parents.
brothers and sisters. Good morning.